So I haven't done an episode. So, hey friend, if you're here, if you've been listening, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a hot minute since I've dropped an episode, and today I just kind of want to sit down, talk to you, and be real, raw, love update. Happiness is a healthier habit is the name of the podcast. And while happiness is something that we experience when we are having joy and, good things are happening, there's always other things that can, hinder or make us feel different emotions, right? So that's what life's all about. And right now, again, this isn't going to be anything like structured or super polished episode. This is just me kind of really sharing what's on my heart, what's life been like lately, and hopefully giving you a little encouragement if you've been in a season that feels heavy or in between too. So, life update. Let's start with some good stuff. I just got my personal training certification, which I'm so excited to include in my nutrition coaching program. It's going to be added, so like personal coaching where I'll be moving to. So I'll be having people come, and if you purchase the habitual sunrise map, the sessions will be included for free. So I'm super stoked about that, especially because I think exercise is definitely a big part of, transformation, but also making it enjoyable and doable. And for me, like reaching goals, PRs, doing different things, make it interesting, make me want to keep doing it. And it's really what has helped me like fall in love with strength training specifically. And so that's also why I wanted to get the certification, because I just kind of teach moms, right? Because I know a lot of moms out there that still think that cardio is the only thing that they need to do, or they need to eat less to get to where they want to be. And honestly, for me, it's just about health and everything that comes with the benefits of strength training, right? Not just looking super toned or, super skinny, right? I think there's so much value when moms create that muscle in their bodies. And for me, it's been such a game changer in the way I go about just life in general. And, my son is always like, Mom, I want to be strong like you. I want my arms to look like yours. And Mom, how do you get your arms to do that? Like, it's so cool that my 10-year-old says that. And honestly, if you have boys, it's just an amazing feeling. Like, I am such a big fan of strength training. So that is one of the reasons why I wanted to get this certification and just help, moms feel confident in their bodies. And to add this to the habitual sunrise map just makes me feel like I'm empowering you even further than just kind of giving you a plan, right? So I'm just really stoked about that. And so that's that with the, good stuff. We're also going to be moving. Our house is in a shamble right now. Like, we literally packed a U-Haul last week, and my husband took it back to Houston. So like half of our house is already packed and gone. And yeah, we're just kind of waiting in limbo here for school to end. And so I can register one of my kiddos back in school next, school year. I will be homeschooling 2 of them. And so it's going to be an interesting transition. I don't think I could have done all 3 at once. I think it was going to be a lot of load for me. So I did want to just put the littlest one back in school and just kind of get my feet wet with this homeschooling stuff. But if you've ever been in limbo right now, you know how hard, like for me, this waiting game can feel. It's, this weird space of like living in my current life, but mentally preparing myself for this big change. And it's been a lot because I have so many visions for where I want to take my business, where I want to take, personal charge of my children's education and this aspiration of being a mom again. So I think a lot of things have definitely took a toll on just kind of like feeling overwhelmed a little bit. So let's talk about the not so fun side of things, right? So for like the last couple of months, my husband has not been with me. And so I think that's been really hard for me. He visits us, as much as he can, but, it's only for like a day or a weekend. And it's been kind of tough these past few months, especially because we decided we wanted to have another baby. And if if you've been listening, but if you don't, this would be our last hurrah. I've never struggled to get pregnant. We've usually, thank God, once we plan something, it's happened fairly quickly. But of course, it wouldn't be life without challenges. So my husband actually got some blood work done. I had gotten some blood work done in the beginning of the year. And my stuff came back pretty much normal. And my husband's, he recently did his, and his testosterone and vitamin D came back low. And so I put him on this protocol to help. And so I put him on some peptides, on some specific supplements that help boost your testosterone. And he just started that, like he's been on that for a month. I also added some like omegas and CoQ10 for, sperm quality. And so I'm just kind of in a place where, I took 2 pregnancy tests. I took one last month and this month, and it's just honestly, like stirred up a lot of emotions for me. It's something that I don't talk about often. I've never struggled, but we're in a time frame where we gave ourselves a time frame, and I don't know, it's just bringing up some triggers now because there's so much information in my space as far as nutrition goes, where infertility rates are high. And again, I've never struggled to get pregnant. I did have an IUD, which was non-hormonal, but there is still always some side effects to those things. And I had that for 4 years. And, now my husband is, with the hernia. And so he might have to have surgery here soon. So I like something that my friend said, and shout out to her. She's been such a blessing to have here, but I have to just keep affirming it, right? Like, and manifest it, and I'm gonna have a baby, and just keep saying it. And I just love the way she framed it. And it's just great to hear that from people, because sometimes I can get stuck in my own ways, and, it brings a mix of just more hope and, all of these things that are already happening. And so I kind of feel a little down, but, there's people that we just started too. So it's not like usually 6 months in is when, maybe, I don't know. It's just, I've never struggled. So we've never been here. And so I'm so glad that we are moving in together again, because we can actually try more than, just here and there. So, measuring when we're ovulating and all of those things have a big part, and sometimes times don't match. And so TMI right now, but it's just the timing of everything. So a lot going on. There's a lot of overwhelmed. And if you've been listening for a while, I've had some recent like family drama resurface too. And I try not to think about that because, stuff happens, people fall apart, people, make their own beds and may take actions that really hurt other people. And, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I have some stuff resurfacing lately. And all of these feelings are definitely piling up in my head, right? So I think it's part of why I haven't been showing up here. My intention is to educate, to drop these episodes weekly. I've been doing this for, I think, 2 years now, and I love just bringing information to you guys. And, I kind of felt bad and that I kind of beating myself up a little bit, but sometimes we just need some space. Sometimes less is really more. And sometimes showing up is exactly what our nervous system is. Like, I took that pressure off myself, and I'm just going to drop it like it is. Like, there's no editing here. There's no intro. I'm just dropping it like I'm feeling it and living it, right? So, bear with me on here. But I do want to give out some tips because I feel like how I've stayed grounded recently, I think, is thinking that things could be worse, right? So holding myself accountable even when life feels messy. So I have these habits, and they become really my anchors. But I noticed that I've decided to maybe even just treat my body with a little bit more love, right? So I was waking up at 4:15 to do some walks every morning, like Monday through Sunday. It was not a fail. And when it comes to workouts, I am super consistent. I even like to say, I have a problem with exercise. I am definitely addicted to it. But I decided to do a little bit less, right? So I'm still working out. I do my strength trainings. My workouts right now are about an hour long at the gym. They're always full body, right? So if I miss a day, it's not a big deal, which for me, it makes me feel more powerful in a way. Like, I control this, and I love doing my sprints. I love having my long mile days. And so I've just reduced my fasted cardio just to reduce some of my morning stress, right? I've switched it actually to just kind of deep breathing and stretching, which I felt really good, which I do 20 minutes of that. And even that, I'm kind of sweating a little bit. And I just feel so relaxed when I'm done with that. And it just really helps with managing all of these things that are going on in my life, and especially with my nervous system and the care, instead of just waking up and going. That's really helped me just kind of centered and really focus on just my body movements and tension and mobility and core work, and definitely a lot more slower than hopping on the treadmill and walking. And so it allows me to have this pressure and to have these more calming and just sitting with my thoughts and not forcing any productivity. And so that's helped me so much these past couple of weeks. And it's allowed me to be in bed a little bit longer. And so for me to let that go has been a huge win. And so I always have to also think about giving myself grace over this grind that I have. And so this is just huge. And this is why I'm doing this episode just like this. There's no selling. It's just getting to know me and just throwing out my thoughts and feelings. And just that consistency doesn't mean that I'm not perfect, or, it's just a different type of consistency. And I'm still committing to showing up for myself and my health. And, I've allowed myself to not weigh myself every day or track my food every day. I make sure I'm eating enough protein and all of these other things. But, a few months ago, I had reached my goal of 20% body fat. And I did that through measurements. And if you want the link, I can send that to you. You can just text me on here or email me. It will be on the show notes. But I found this new calculator, and it's a lot more detailed and much easier, friendly to use. And so I reached that goal. I had a goal to get there, and I got there. But I also have to think of this journey of me wanting to get pregnant, right? And so I've allowed myself to just be more mindful, and I've noticed I'm increasing my calories lately. My runs are actually a lot more efficient. I feel better, I feel stronger, and it's crazy because sometimes talking to you guys or some of my clients, I know what to say and I know that advice, but sometimes to do it for myself can be a little challenging. And so I am taking my own advice right now, and so my runs have improved tremendously with just changing a few tweaks in my diet here and there. My energy has definitely increased, and so I'm feeling a lot better. And so there's things that I'm just kind of giving myself grace over and not overly committing to others, right? So some tips, if you're in a season of like stress or change, that I wanted to give in. So if you might be navigating some of your own big transitions or big life changes, just check in with yourself, right? Don't check out. I could get in this whole spiel of me just scrolling on my phone or not feeling like just kind of not doing much. But it really helps just checking in with somebody, whether it's journaling, walking, don't bury this emotion. So any chance I get to talk to somebody about how I'm feeling, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot lighter. I walk differently. I see things differently. And so it always helps to do that. And so another tip would be, don't overdo workouts, or if you think your workouts are not stressful but you have a lot of things going on, like personally what I'm doing, right, there's a lot of stress. And so even though my workouts and those morning walks aren't difficult, I still have a lot going on. So something had to give, something had to go. So reducing the intensity or just completely eliminating some of those things and just kind of maybe getting steps another way, maybe, walking with my boys, playing with them. I am training Adrian on Mondays specifically to help with speed and just agility drills. So maybe even doing those with him have helped. And, we get to train together. So I think that's pretty cool. To help him get faster, and we get to spend time outside in the sun and just play and have fun, right? Another tip would be just kind of keeping simple routines. Again, anchor into habits that make you feel safe, cared for. It's helped me maintain a healthier lifestyle, even when I have all of these things going on, because I wake up pretty much at the same time. I do the same things pretty much on a weekly basis. And some people might think, well, that's boring, or, this is going on. But with everything else and the future changes that are happening, I feel like this just kind of helps me stay more calm. I can still do this. I can still figure it out, and I can improve this routine once we are where we're moving, right? So lastly would be just kind of celebrating the small wins. For me, I just got certified, and it was something that I really wanted to do. That test was really hard, at least for me. And so showing up for those and showing up for my workouts and showing up for, making sure I'm training Adrian on Mondays and taking him to his, he has other activities. And so just keeping up with the small wins and celebrating. Right now, I'm at a season where I'm just kind of floating through, and my habits have really helped me stay more grounded. And the people that I've surrounded myself with have helped tremendously in staying centered, staying focused. With that being said, having clients that I get to help with and hearing how grateful they are, how much their life has changed, the difference, from where we started to where we are at the end of some of the programs, like, it's been tremendous. It's been amazing. And that also keeps me going, because I want to show up for you guys as much as you show up for yourselves, right? I want to be that support for you, and that's what these episodes are. And everybody has a life. It's not always easy. But again, this is why I'm doing this episode as raw and real. I'm literally sitting on the couch next to my bestie, Rosie, right here. I am house sitting. And so, yeah. So next would be just, what's next? A lot of things, but, where I've been and where I'm at right now. I am not committing to dropping weekly episodes again. Maybe bi-weekly. There's going to be a point where I don't even have a computer installed or an office or a place to be. So a phone podcast might be just the thing I'll be doing. But honestly, I do want to commit to intending to give you no fluff, just real conversations that meet you where you are, because that's what I need to. And so again, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, for holding space for this life update. And if you're walking through a heavy or uncertain season, I see you, I'm with you. Until, next time we get to chat, keep taking care of yourself in the way only you know how. And thank you. Summer is coming. And so I just appreciate you so much.